Hello and welcome. This video is a part of a 14-part video series, which is an audio exploration of each exercise found in Richard Schwartz's book, No Bad Parts. I personally struggled with the exercises in this book. I became frustrated by the process of reading the instructions for the exercise, entering a meditative headspace, only to break it again to read more of the instructions for the exercise. I felt if I could just listen to the instructions, instead of having to stop and read them every so often, it might be easier for me to maintain my meditation and thus glean more from the exercises. To that end, I decided to record a series of videos that does just that. I've done my best to read each of these exercises in a relaxed, deliberate manner. For the instances where you are asked a question or prompted to ask your parts a question, I've included 3 seconds of silence so you can easily pause the video and resume the video at your convenience. If you found this video by mistake and you have no idea what I'm talking about, I highly recommend that you click away from this video and read No Bad Parts before continuing with any of these exercises. You won't glean much without the essential context, and you may end up hurting yourself in the process. If you found this content helpful, consider leaving a like and a descriptive comment so the algorithm can help others find this video as well. Without further ado, let's get to the exercise. Dilemma Meditation. Once again, I invite you to get comfortable and take some deep breaths. Now, think of a dilemma in your life, either one that you're currently facing or one that you faced in the past. Pick an issue that you've experienced a lot of conflict around. And as you focus on this dilemma, notice the parts on each side of it and notice how they battle with each other. And then, notice how you feel toward that battle or toward each part in the battle. Now, let's get to know each of those parts one at a time. To do that, you're going to ask one of them to go into a kind of waiting room that will create a bit of a boundary that will allow the one you're currently working with to relax a little bit. So get to know the one who's not in the waiting room first. And again, notice what you're feeling toward it. If you're feeling anything negative, we're going to ask the parts associated with those negative feelings to just let you get to know it for a few minutes. We're not going to try to give the attended to part more power to take over and get whatever it wants. We're just going to try to get to know it. To do that, the one you have in the waiting room, or any of its allies who are making themselves known, needs to pull its energy out of you. You can reassure it, that is, the one in the waiting room, that it'll have time with you too, so maybe that will help it be a little more patient. If you can get to a point of at least being curious about the one who's not in the waiting room, go ahead and follow your curiosity and ask it what it wants you to know about its position. Why does it take such a strong position on this issue? What is it afraid would happen if the other one took over and won the battle? As you listen to it, you don't have to agree or disagree. Just let the part know that you respect it, you care about it, you're there with it, and you hear it. See how it reacts. In the next minute or so, I want you to ask the part you've been speaking with to go into a separate waiting room. Then, let the other one out so you can get to know it in the same way. And again, you're trying to have an open heart and open mind as you listen to its side. You don't have to agree. You just kind of want to get where it's coming from, why it's so charged up about this, what it's afraid would happen if the other side won, and so on. After you've worked with that second part for a while, ask it if it would be willing to talk to the other one directly. Reassure it that you are there to mediate and to make sure they stay respectful toward each other. It's okay if the part's not willing to do that. If that happens, you won't take the next steps. But if it is willing, then invite the other one to come and sit with the two of you. Now, you're going to kind of be their therapist as they talk to each other about this issue. And again, your job isn't to take a side, it's just to help them get to know each other in a different way and make sure they respect each other when they talk. Remind them that they're both a part of you, so they have that in common. Then, just see how they react as they get to know each other in this different way. Notice what happens to the dilemma. At some point, pause their discussion. Let them both know that you can meet with them more regularly in this way and ask them if they'd be willing to give you their input on dilemmas in the future, but then trust you to make the final decision. They would act more like advisors for you rather than having the responsibility of making bigger decisions like this one on their own. See how they react to that idea. As before, it can help to remind them of who you are, age-wise, etc., and who you're not. In the next minute or two, thank them both for however much they did, and be sure to remind them that you're going to try to return. Then, begin to shift your focus back to the outside world.